Hey everyone, Maria from Beat 'em Up Wrestling. Today I have a special guest and hopefully episode 1 of a new series called The Elite Librarians. This is my friend Beth.
Hi.
I met her through AEW Heels, so I know I've been going on a tangent just recently about things about AEW Heels, but this is probably one of the best things that came out of it is the community we've
Absolutely.
been talking about. And we would never have met if it wasn't for AEW Heels.
That's right.
Yeah, we started after the first initial event. Somebody started a Facebook group and it just kind of took off, and everybody started kind of like putting their social media handles and what they did, how they got into
Mhm.
wrestling. And of course, librarians attract other librarians because we're unicorns.
Yeah.
Librarians are like wrestling is pretty much unicorns in my book, and we're special.
Yeah.
And so shout out to Leva Bates and Peter
Yes.
Avalon, because we hope that you guys will see this and we hope to add to the group and just have nice big discussions about all things AEW and
Yes.
a little bit of other stuff too. We can talk about a little bit of other stuff.
Yes. I love you, Leva.
So, Beth, tell me a little bit about yourself. How long have you been a wrestling fan, and what was some of your fondest wrestling moments growing up?
Okay. Well, I am a librarian. First of all, that's anybody asks me, who are you? I'm a librarian. That's how I identify. As far as wrestling, I remember watching back then. It was WWF with my dad, and he wasn't even really into it. I think it was just on one day, and I just thought that the characters, it was really, neat, and all these moves that they were able to do. It wasn't until I think it was the early 90s when Luna Vachon and Sensational Sherry had this feud. I think it started over Shawn Michaels. That I and they had a couple of matches, and I realized, oh my gosh, women do this too. This really cool thing. My dad took me to a show, a WWF show. I can't remember what year it was. I think I was in my early teens. It was I remember not completely understanding because it was a house show.
Okay.
And so, how at a house show, sometimes the wrestlers will kind of goof around and
Mhm.
do stuff they would not do on television. And I was just kind of confused, why is they doing all this stuff? But I loved it. I absolutely love it. That was my very first live show. I watched until the end of the 90s. That's when, the Attitude Era was starting. Uh, I really didn't like that, edgy, a lot of that
Mhm.
sexual
Yeah.
stuff. Part of it had to do with, I was raised in a very conservative Christian home. And, women, doing bra and panties matches,
Yeah.
stripping down to the bare, and guys pointing at their crotches.
Yeah. It was,
That
it was a little bit much. It was a little
it
bit
was
too
a
much.
little bit much, and that was about the time I went off to college too. And I just kind of, I got away from it for a long, long time. I got away from it, and then about 4 years ago, a random WWE video appeared on my YouTube um, recommended videos, and I was like, oh yeah, I used to like that. I wonder what's going on with
Yeah.
wrestling. So I watched, it was an episode of Monday Night Raw, and um the women, you know the women who were being taken seriously, and the women who were, you know just doing all these amazing things and having all these amazing matches, the same as the men,
Yeah.
and they were just so beautiful and so tough. And I was just like, they were what brought me back, you
Oh,
know.
they came a long
So,
way.
if they hadn't been there, I would just been like, oh yeah, it's kind of like I remember it, but different, and all the thing. If it just been the guys, but the girls, it was
Mhm.
like, oh yes, I'm so into this. And I, I so I for about three of those from 2016 to 2000, about 2019. I was watching WWE religiously. I
Mhm.
wasn't aware of any other companies really, or I didn't have cable, so I didn't have the ability to watch any other companies. Um, but I got so tired of the WWE, all the stuff that's wrong with it, basically. I mean, I could list it all one by one, but y'all know what it is. It's just kind of like, and the way, these really awesome charismatic wrestlers, male and female, were just not being used properly.
Mhm.
It just really, it's like, why am I remember one time I just said, why am I wasting my time on this? But I stayed because I wanted to support the wrestlers.
Yep.
I wanted to support them. But the straw that broke the camel's back for me was John Moxley, or Dean Ambrose as he was.
Mhm.
The crap that they made him do at the end on his way out made me so, it wasn't even disappointment, it was angry. I was
Yeah.
angry that this is how they were treating him on the way out because he wouldn't resign. And I really hoped, wherever he goes next, whatever he does, I said, I hope he doesn't quit,
Mhm.
that, it's like he's got so much to give. And then when he made that the video and he made the announcement that he's breaking out and he's going to AEW, I was like, ooh, because I'd heard about AEW, but it had all these people from New Japan, and like, I don't know any of those people, and it looks kind of, I don't know. And when you're loyal to one brand for so long, it's kind of like, how do for some people maybe it's easy, but for other people,
I
it's like,
jump
I'm
in.
a very loyal person, so it's like, but I was just kind of like, well, let me just see what's going on. So I watched the first episode of Dynamite, and I was like, whoa.
Wait, so my second question was, how did you get started with the Elite AEW? So John Moxley, Dean Ambrose was your gateway.
He was the one who really got me to turn over. I had seen on, I don't know if it was Facebook or Twitter or what it was, but I had seen the advertisements for a librarian gimmick.
Yeah, yeah.
And I was like, oh, that could be interesting. And then the first time I saw Leva, I'm honest to God, Leva, if you see this, honest to God, it was you. I saw you with your blue hair and the glasses and the application video you made. I'm like, yes. I was just like, yes, okay, what is this company about? Because I am intrigued. And then when John Moxley went over there, I was like, I'm all in.
Yeah.
I'm all in. Yes. Because, I could see from the very first, he's not a guy who, goes around smiling or anything, but you can see he is happy. He is free to be, the performer that he wants to be, that he needs to be.
Yeah. Really.
It's just like, I want to be a part of, I want to watch this company that gives these wrestlers such joy, and they're having so much fun
Mhm.
to be there. And it's brand new. It doesn't have all those years and years and years of history and baggage, you know. Um,
Some baggage,
that was my thinking at the time, anyway.
so much baggage that people like my rebuttal to a lot of people were saying, AEW, okay, so AEW we both know came out and they were like, we're going to be different.
Yeah.
And they set a bar that was high. And sometimes it bites them in the butt too, because
Yeah.
you set a standard for yourself that nobody else you didn't have to do that. So now everybody holds you accountable. The other brands don't do that. So you never hold them accountable. And I always feel like that's the argument. Like, I understand you want to attack AEW, you want to keep on attacking them, you want them to do better because they decided to make themselves have this, oh, we're going to be better than the rest. And that's a good mentality. it's going to be hard to always achieve that. But you can't turn your blind eye to like the murder and all these other allegations and the
Oh,
abuse
yes.
to all these people and the other organizations, because you get a bucket that's running over and a
Yeah.
bucket that has droplets that you can
Yeah.
barely see. And people
Yeah.
hate to hear that. But
Yeah.
but that's why I really wanted to bring you on and talk to you, because when you told me you were more into like WWF, you had this, not a pure sense of AEW, but you can come in and be like, unbiased about it. Like, this is
Yeah.
me being completely honest. I was a straight diehard fan, and now this is why I like AEW.
Yeah. And like I was telling you in our private chat, I had heard about, it's like, who in the world doesn't know, hasn't heard the name Kenny Omega, and he's like, the greatest wrestler ever. And the elite, and I was like, you know what? I'm not going to be impressed by all that hype, because I haven't been exposed to that. I'm like, these guys need to impress me.
Mm-hmm.
Especially since they're the ones, with Tony Khan, they're the ones who have created this company.
Yeah.
They really, really, I wanted them to impress me with what they can do in the ring and, how they run this company. So so it was like, I knew Chris Jericho and I knew John Moxley, and that was about it. Yeah. There were so many, I was so excited because there's so many new wrestlers to experience and to fall in love with, and I have with so many of them.
Yeah, AEW is like the Goodreads of books.
Yeah.
They're like
Yes.
a way to indies. They're like, it really is, because if you go to like Joy Janela, then you will start to learn about GCW. Then you start to learn about more independent people.
Yes.
Like Warhorse came on. They're like, where does Warhorse come from? IWTV, another independent promotion.
I had never heard of Warhorse until you and other people started tweeting about how he should answer the challenge. I'm like, who is this guy? He must be awesome because everybody's talking about him.
Rules ass, okay? That's who we.
Well, he was very fun. And I do have to say, with Warhorse, it did pop into my mind a comparison with as a very young Ultimate Warrior.
Yeah. Kind of. Yeah. Yeah. Ultimate was. He was really flashy, but this guy's more like punk, I guess, more rock. Yeah, right.
Yeah. But just the long hair, the paint on his face, and I remember Ultimate Warrior from when I watched, and so I was like, okay, so this is like an even cooler and probably more articulate Ultimate Warrior.
Yeah, he's articulate with his capitalizations of everything, but yeah, he's pretty good.
Yeah. But yeah, I'm getting exposed to so much, so many new people, that's something that I really love about AEW, is that I've, my wrestling knowledge has been exposed because I was in the WWE bubble forever.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, that's a great perspective right there. I mean, I love this. I love the tone of this whole conversation because it's just awesome. It's just fun,
Yeah.
So since All In and All Out and not even the year of Dynamite so far, who are your top 3 wrestlers in AEW?
Ooh. Now, are we talking my favorites, or are you talking about the best?
Who you tune into? Who do you know will give you like, ooh, they're gonna come on and I gotta watch it?
Oh, okay. So they're there. I definitely 3. Ooh. Orange Cassidy, definitely.
Okay.
Like people complain about not getting his gimmick.
Yeah.
I got it almost at once, and I was like, that is so awesome. Yeah, because the fact that 99% of the time he moves around like a sloth,
mm-hmm.
but when he gets fired up,
when he turns on, he's on.
Wow, he's amazing. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to pick one singles male, a female, and a tag team.
Okay.
because otherwise we'll be here all day. Because I really. I'll tell you, as far as the women go, there are a lot of great women in AEW. If I've got to pick one who I'm excited to see whenever she's on, I can't even pick one. Oh my gosh, I have to pick two for the women. I think Sheeta is amazing and beautiful. She is. I always call her Queen Sheeta because she is. You
Yeah,
know, she
adorable. Yeah,
Kyrie was the pirate princess. You know, I feel like Sheeta is like the samurai queen.
yeah, yeah.
You know, I love her. You know, I think she's a great champion. Um, and I also love Big Swole.
Big Swole's so good.
I love. Well, the first thing that struck me about her is, you know, she comes out there and she is 150% confident. She knows who she is. She and you know, she knows what she's capable of, and she will prove it anytime, any place, anywhere, any stipulation. She will just go out there and wreck you.
Yeah.
Which is why Britt better get used to that wheelchair, because she's going right back into
Right
it.
back to it. Sit down, girl. Go right back.
Tag team. Ooh, there are a lot of good tag teams.
A lot of time. I think that's the one thing AEW does get right. They have
Yes,
probably
absolutely.
the top tier tag team.
And that's, yeah, and a place where, you know, AEW right now, not AEW, WWE is really dropping the ball on tag teams right now.
Yeah.
I mean, they've had their Raw champions, you know, doing skits, you know, for, you know, anything you can do, I can do better, for weeks on end. They're not actually defending those titles. What's the point of that? I think we have great tag team champions right now. The mix of Kenny Omega and Hangman Page, the who's gonna turn first, who's gonna betray whom, how many beers can Page consume in one
sitting
episode? Will he get his lawnmower? It's just a really great chemistry, you know, that they've got, and I really like that. And for the women, I've got to say Latina Heat are amazing.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. They need to win this tournament and get signed, because they would be in singles and in tag team. They are just they've really impressed me.
Yeah, Ivelisse and Diamante, they've tagged before. They know each other. It's just almost organic.
Yes.
And I can see like the faction of like Eddie Kingston and Santana Ortiz and them together, like just the trouble. Like, you want to talk about retribution? Let them show you how it's really done. They'll make it look dirty.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So I agree with those picks. I like that. So speaking of the women's division, I know you and me have conversations about what's going on.
Oh yes. Daily.
I'm trying to think of a way to ask this. All right, let's just go this way. If you had a chance to speak to Tony Khan and tell him 3 constructive things you would like him to change in the women's division, or just how you would tell him to approach it differently,
okay,
what would you say to him? And he was willing to, like, you know, this was like a proposal. He was
willing to say, okay, we're gonna do whatever I tell him. Okay.
Yeah.
First thing I would do, and this isn't a hypothetical, is I would find the crown jewel of the women's division, an experienced veteran. The male equivalent is Chris Jericho. You know, he was, you know, the biggest signing. He is a name that, you know, if you watch New Japan, if you watch WWE,
yeah,
you know who Chris Jericho is.
Yeah.
You know what you're getting with him. Someone like that, someone on that level who you can build the women's division and say, you know, someone who can get the best match out of everyone, like Chris Jericho has done with pretty much everyone he's feuded with.
Yeah.
So far. And then I would ask Tony Khan, why wasn't that a priority from the beginning? But that's a sidebar. Because it only makes sense to me. You know, you've got all, you know, you came into it with the crown jewel in Chris Jericho. You came into it with the Young Bucks. You came into it with these known names in those different divisions. Why didn't you get Deonna Purrazzo, who is the current Impact champion?
They had Kylie, and she left.
Yeah,
for reasons.
She was there. She was a free agent. You could have snapped her right up. And all these people who are saying, oh, almost everyone in the AEW women's division is green. They're not good. They can't wrestle a match. You can't say that about Deonna Purrazzo.
No, you can't.
She's amazing.
And they never have the time to wrestle. So, like, when you train, you know, like, when you do anything. Yeah.
Well, nobody wants to watch it. Everybody flips over to NXT.
They just need to take the hit. They need to take the hit in the demos, because if you don't allow them to perform in the live arena, no matter how much they practice in development, they're not going to have the same energy, the excitement, the adrenaline. So you have to allow them to experience that and just find a way to either hone that into a character, be comfortable with that experience, so they don't slip up, so they don't do their mess ups as often. But you don't get used to the exposure until you get it. You know, that's like my thing about it. Just saying, like, you know, you have to allow them to get the anxiety of live shows out of their systems, you know, especially for the younger talent. They do. They also, for me though, like you said, finding the crown jewel, they had it in Riho, but unfortunately she got stuck overseas. But even then, but they dropped the ball, because they had such a great story with her and with Emi Sakura, master versus student. What buildup was there besides Emi saying it on Twitter?
1 week.
1 week.
They did that 1 week build before the pay-per-view.
Yeah.
And it hardly registered that this was master versus student.
No, and that's a huge. That's a huge.
Told that story over a number of weeks, and it would have been amazing.
Yeah.
And that's number 2 for me. You know, the women's storylines. You know, what Britt and Swole have got going on right now, even with Britt injured, that is brilliant. And it's amazing. You know, and it's a great way to keep her on camera and, you know, in the mix, even though she is legitimately immersed. And it does give Swole something to at least demonstrate her charisma.
Yeah.
You know, and say, you know, and put over, you know, her, you know, I'm gonna, you know, troll the crap out of you every week. You're not gonna be able to turn around, because there I will, you know, trying to throw you back in the dumpster. You know, it's a great story.
Yeah, it is.
So why the only other story I can think of that the women have right now is the Nightmare Sisters. And I still don't quite understand how Brandy went from, you know, like, who is this interloper, to just completely accepting her.
Yeah.
You know? I was just kind of like, this doesn't make sense.
Well, if I don't know if you saw all the way back to beginning before All In, when she got signed, there was heat between them, like in the BTE episodes. So they didn't like each other at all. Yeah. So like, you know, so this is like a full circle with them. But my thing is, like, they're banking a lot on Brandy doing certain things, and she can't do everything. You know, she's in the tag tournament. She was doing, you know, the matches with her. She had her first toy. You know, I would have liked them to have a different toy. You know, a champion with a belt. That would have been a great toy for girls. You know. But it's just one of those things, again, like, you know, we were talking about, if the tag tournament comes down to it being Brandy and Allie, it's almost an obvious pick, because they're both signed with AEW.
Yeah.
And 2, it sets up for them either if they lose, it's going to set them up to have a feud at All Out. But if they win, they can also still set a feud saying, Brandy could say, you know, I won this, you know, I won. Allie's like, no, you didn't win. We won together. It still sets up a feud for All Out, but you're not putting over anybody else. They don't need to be put over. Yeah.
And that's what they need. I said to you last night, I said, Brandy and Allie, they don't need to win this.
No, they don't.
They don't. That's why I said, you know, you've got these two amazing, you know, Diamante and Felice, you know, put them over. People keep complaining, oh, we don't have any women. Okay, so have them win the tournament, and then they can start having matches with Sheeta. They can start having matches with Penelope Ford.
Like, I'm okay with Big Swole, Little Swole.
You know, they do have women.
Yeah, or Big Swole.
But they're all sitting in the audience cheering. They do have women.
And that's the saddest part about the Sheeta's championship reign, because it started off like entertaining and we really loved it. But then she started being, you know, an audience member. We thought she had an open challenge, which it came down to Evilise and Diamante winning. We thought we had a championship match, but then it wasn't a championship match. We haven't really seen her. And then yesterday we get a squash match for her when she says, you know, that she's waiting for a challenge. Well, are you? Like, if you have the time for it, are they going to give you the time for a challenge? You know, but they could have hyped her up just like
I almost feel like she, you know, and then maybe this is just, you know, my paranoia with having been exposed to WWE so long, but it was like almost like that's what she had to say, that I'm still waiting for a challenge, you know, because it's just, you know, I had this idea when I was driving home today. Why not have an open challenge for the women's title every week, just like you have for Cody? If you know, if you can, you know, if you've gone through all the women that you currently have on the roster, there's got to be local or regional wrestlers who are not, you know, currently working right now. You know, get them on TV, give them that little bit of a rub on national television, get their name out there.
Yeah, and you're having a lot
I thought the point of this company was to make new stars, you know, because that's not what the WWE is doing. They're recycling the old stars. The new people are just jobbing out, you know. And in the, you know, nobody knows who any of the female talent are. Don't know what they're capable of. So you build them up.
Yeah.
You know. Charlotte Flair may have had a famous name, but she had to work her butt off to get as good as she is, and, you know, as big as she is. Becky had to work her way up. Yeah. You know, a lot of, you know, they didn't, you know, just drop out of the sky one day. You know, they all had to work hard. They all had to build up their character. They all had to get some wins. They all had to hold some titles.
Yeah.
You know, get themselves over. And the AEW women are just not being allowed to do that. No, because they get 5 minutes if they're lucky. Blink and you miss it.
Yeah. I would have never seen Tay Conti's video promo giving heat about how she's a cute girl, but she, you know, she's a world-class, like, I think, martial artist and stuff like that. And Kenny Omega shared it, and I was like, oh.
That's another woman that you could definitely, you know, make a major player, because she's not green.
No.
Okay, so that's 2, long-windedly. 3. The third one's just going to be a little flippant. Come on, give us some more female action figures. Honestly, when I saw that Series 2 had 0 women, my first reaction was you couldn't, okay, you didn't want to do Riho because she's a tiny little thing. She doesn't look like she could, knock anything over. But you've got Nyla Rose, who is a powerhouse. She could probably take on any man in the division and turn him into hamburger meat, and you couldn't give her the second figure after Brandy. I get why Brandy was first, but and now maybe I didn't get to check the designer's Twitter feed, but I think he hinted that we would be getting Sheeta with series. Well, we've got to wait for series 3. Seriously?
Yep.
Again, I love these women so much. I want them to have all of the recognition that they, can get. And it's like almost like they're not even there.
No, and you get people
it's like there's a lot of people who would be very happy if there was just a men's division and a men's tag team division and just cut out the women's division entirely. They won't miss it.
No, and then people like them always complain, like about the green part. It's like, well, Jungle Boy was green. MJF doesn't get a lot of ring time. He's sometimes pretty green still too. Darby Allin didn't have a lot of years behind him in wrestling when he came into AEW. Marco Stunt gets more airtime than half the women do, and he got better. I'm not gonna downplay that he's gotten better as a wrestler, and he does add something to Jurassic Express. But at the same time, he's getting more airtime than all your developmental and all your signed women.
Yeah, and Peter Avalon and Brandon are getting more matches than Leva is. She's just basically the manager right now, which not that she doesn't do that well, and the dynamic the three of them have is, awesome and hilarious, and I love it. But I want all the best for Leva. I want her to show what she can do. I love that, I can't remember what her name was, but the commentator on the
Beta
tag team tournament, was really playing up how awesome Leva was. And I tweeted at her, I said, thank you, because I don't think Leva gets enough love.
No, she doesn't. Lita herself should have been more highlighted as being an amazing female commentary, and she should be
absolutely. I've seen guys comment, "Oh, she's bland. Oh, she doesn't." And I'm like, my goodness. I feel like it's not just within the company, but within the male fan base. And I'm not bashing you guys in general, but I'm basing this on the comments that I have seen on tweets that are saying, there wasn't a lot of time for the women. There's it's like almost like they don't want the women there. Or the only women that they want there is the girls in bikinis for Fighter Fest or for the pay-per-views,
And they pan to them a lot more than they usually do for the regular girls too.
Just like some people want the Raw dancing girls back, It's just like I really thought we were past this. I really thought, we in WWE, they got the Give Divas a Chance thing. That started the whole evolution. And so I thought with AEW, okay, we've been through this. This is 2020.
Yeah.
We should not have to climb Mount Everest again.
Nope.
But we do. We do. And I don't want to, start fights on Twitter, but I'm not going to stop if I feel like I want to say the women, use that hashtag AEW women deserve more. They deserve better.
Yeah.
I'm going to say that because that's how I feel. And I want the female talent to know that they are valued. And that there are not just people in general, but there are women who want to see them perform and want them to become, you know, the titans that, you know, the four horsewomen in WWE that have become the you know, the queen that Asuka is. You know, I want them to be that big. I want them, and I'm being ambitious here. I want them to not just be able to be the main event of a Dynamite. I want them to be able, that maybe that's my real third thing, is I want them to be able to build up such a great match, an explosive match, they can headline a pay-per-view and blow everyone away. Because I'll tell you what, you know, even if they're not all there yet, the potential is there. And I want them to at least have a road to get there. You know, so we can have that glorious moment, you know, where we can say, as fans of the women's division, you know, the women are, you know, are finally standing on the same playing field with the men, you know, that they are valued as much as the men are, that they are given the same kinds of opportunities that the men are. I don't feel, you know, sometimes I say I'm being naive to think, but you know what? They do. They deserve that. They deserve that. And I am very passionate about that. If y'all can't tell, I am very, very, very passionate about it. I'm, you know, I'm going to be respectful. I am not going to be hate tweeting at Tony Khan or Kenny Omega or anybody. That's not me. You know, I tweet at the company. You know, I tweet at AEW. Do something more with your women's division. You know, because it's a company thing. It's not any one person. It's an entire mentality. You know?
That's a good point. That is a good point, that it's entire mentality, because you know, it's sad, because when going back to what you said about, you know, not stopping tweeting about it, I feel like a lot of people can't give criticism that's not hateful, because you have the men who are like, women's division, nah. And then you have the AEW fans who just want to be fans and say the positivity, but there's never 100% greatness in one company. And a lot of people will be vocal and they're very loud on that 100%. Like, oh, I love it. It's just a great company. And a lot of people are in the radar of AEW, and there's this misconception that that's everybody's tone. And for some reason, I feel like the people that want more need to get together and band together and elevate our voices, because we don't want to be overshadowed, because we're not happy with what's going on. We want more, and we should always expect more from a company that says they're going to give us more.
Yes. And what we want is positive.
Yeah.
You know? You know, it's not like we are, you know, like you've been accused of, you know, being a WWE fan who, you know, just wants to hate on AEW. Yeah. Which anybody who, you know, even remotely knows you knows that's not true.
No.
And I you know, I still love NXT. I still watch NXT every week. Most weeks, I record both shows on Wednesday nights. I usually watch AEW live, and I'll watch NXT later in the week. Mm-hmm. Just, you know, on one of those days when, you know, I don't have live wrestling and I want some, you know, at least pretend it's live wrestling, because I don't watch the main roster anymore. But I'm gonna out myself, Maria. This week, I'm just gonna do it. You know, you only live once. This week, I just got so riled up. There were no women advertised for the show. I think Tony Khan mentioned that Britt Baker and Swole were supposed to, you know, I guess they were supposed to have a segment or something. And I'm like, oh, it's going to be a segment. It's not going to be a match. There are no matches this week. And I said, you know what? Wednesday night is my wrestling night. you know? And I want to watch some women's wrestling. So, oh my gosh, I watched NXT live, and I haven't watched AEW yet. I'll probably watch it tomorrow night. And I know it was a great show. I saw everyone's comments, you know, and I'm really looking forward to it. But, you know, it was like, you know what? And I know I'm dropping the bucket, you know, them missing one viewer less this week is not going to make any waves. But for me, it was just like, I want to watch women's wrestling tonight. And I got 2 matches, you know, I got two good matches, and that made me happy.
Yeah, I don't blame you because I watched Impact
And,
and I had 3 matches in Impact and then they
oh,
had
I watched him.
promos.
I watched Impact after I watched NXT, and I was like, "Oh my
So
god!"
good. So
I
much
wanted,
goodness.
I wanted that Valkyrie Kylie match this week. I'm like, I want it now.
She was like,
Oh,
hey,
and
I won.
that's another company that has got a great women's division and is really loves them. You know, gives them time, lets the ladies be themselves and get themselves over their characters. And I love it. I love it. And I want, you know, because those are supposed to be the big 3 right now,
Mhm.
you know, Impact, WWE, and AEW. And 2 of them have got, you know, really good women's rosters. So, you know, you talk about the competition, you know, that's going on right now. That's one way where AEW is falling behind, you
Yeah.
know, and that is me being objective. That is me at looking at similar products and saying, what does this one thing not have that the other ones do that make it more attractive to someone like me, you
Mhm.
know? Or what's one thing that I would make better about AEW? That's it. That's the one thing. If they had a dynamic women's division, I would probably be one of those, oh my gosh, this is the best company ever.
Yep.
You
Yep.
know, that's the stick, but it's a sticking point with me. It's not something that I can overlook. It's not something I can forgive. And people who want to say, oh, they've only been, you know, a company for a year and give them time, and, you know, the pandemic, this was a problem before the pandemic. Don't even get me started. um and the thing is, if you let it continue and continue and continue, the longer it goes, the harder it's going to eventually be. Eventually it's going to have to get to a point where people are tweeting loud and clear, give the women a chance, the way it happened in WWE.
Yeah.
You know, and but the thing is, why take all of those years and go through all of those bad years when you can start off clean and fresh, building that division up, you know, from the get-go?
I don't,
Why not? It just, why not have the best product across the board?
yeah.
That's I just don't understand that. I don't understand. It's just, from so many different perspectives, it just does not make sense to not build up your women's division, to not make it as the best you can possibly make it from the get-go, like shiny and brand new as everything else has been.
Yeah. And people want to say like, well, we got our own show on YouTube now. That's the women's tournament. But you clearly, even when you say you got your own show, there's clearly an issue to why you have no time on Dynamite. The fact that you had to carve out a space for you is an indication that there wasn't a space for you to begin with.
Yes.
So there's a problem there. Second of all, if you want to say all the talent is overseas, or everything's been stopped because of that, then stop showcasing talent that isn't signed. What are
Yeah.
you doing with those talents then? You know what I mean? Like, then you're wasting everybody's time. You're building up something that you're never going to invest in.
Yep.
And that's wasting not only the fans' time with investing, but you're also wasting the other side of the coin, which is the wrestlers that are
Yes.
hoping to get picked up, and storyline and progressions and things like that.
Yes.
Yeah, no, it's disheartening.
Yeah.
It's sad. We don't have to wait another 20 years for a women's revolution in AEW, because I'll be too old at that
Yes.
point to be invested that long.
Exactly.
But yeah, I don't know how I feel. I would like for us to come back and talk after the tournament and invite
Yes.
you to our round table, because we're going to talk about basically the women's tag at that point, the booking.
Mm-hmm.
If Cody still has the belt or not, we'll have more time to talk about that on another episode.
He's got to lose it sometime.
Oh yeah, he's got to lose it sometime. And if Brody Lee doesn't win, or something happens where there's a disqualification, Brody Lee can't lose, because what's the purpose of him giving like the papers and chastising the Dark Order if he can't win?
Yeah.
And
he's already lost to Moxley.
Yeah.
You know,
I love Moxley, but he's not.
I mean, that was a fantastic match. But to say, okay, he's lost to Moxley. If he loses to Cody, then all he becomes is the figurehead of the Dark Order and a character on BTE.
Yeah.
You know, and he's a great wrestler too.
Yeah.
So yeah, the booking, that's going to be very interesting. I'll tell you what, I personally think it would be very interesting if the Dark Order finally got some gold. And if Brody specifically gets the title and then looks at his tag teams and says, now you guys go and get the tag team belts. And then he looks at Anna Jay and says, go after Sheeta, because he wants all the gold.
Yeah.
In the family, so to speak.
Yeah.
You know, that is a tried and true wrestling story where one stable, Undisputed Era, they had a woman, they could have had the women's title too. Yeah. You know, because they had all of the men's belts at once. You know, it's a great story. And then they look so dominant. Yeah. And then all the baby faces have to, you know, just overcome all those numbers because there's so many of them.
Yeah.
And that's a great, I could do this. Hire me, AEW. I can book your shows.
We read enough books to know about better plot lines and getting out of situations.
I always wanted to be a writer. I'm not kidding. I could do this. But I could book the women's division.
Yeah, the women's division needs so much help, but
it does. And no one person can just magically wave a wand, no. You know. But I think it will take someone taking control of it who is as passionate about the women and about the division as you and I are, and you know, and you know the others, because there are definitely those people out there.
Yeah, and it has to be given
but it has to come down from the top, because you know if it's a grassroots, you know, campaign like it was last time, it's going to take us a long time.
Yeah, it is.
You know? And yeah. I'm hoping. I know you haven't, you know, subscribed to Heels yet, but I did. I drank that particular Kool-Aid, because I figure I've got, you know. I've got a foot in the door, you know, in a women's forum. You know, Brandy's there, the female talent are there, you know, and you know, maybe I can be a catalyst for fostering, you know, conversation on, you know, some of these things, you know, and if, you know, the other heels and the other women who watch AEW, you know, if we can all, you know, we could make it a women's movement, and, you know, just, you know, do it that way, just overcome the men and saying, we want this and we're going to have this.
Yeah. How does the platform look? The platform for AEW heels, the membership side.
Oh, I haven't really looked at it yet. I just, you know, I paid my $50 and I was like, and that was just kind of, I missed the group that Friday night, it was Friday. I was exhausted, and I was like, well, there will be a lot more. I wish now I hadn't missed it, because it looked like it was really awesome, and I missed Aubrey talking,
Yeah.
and I love Aubrey. She's the best ref in AEW. You know that she's gonna call it straight down the middle, and she doesn't take crap from anyone, not even Jericho.
Yeah. Which is funny. That was great. That was probably the best spot in the Stadium Stampede. Them arguing, going to the tent. Let's review that. I don't want to review.
Yeah.
I'm going to challenge you. I'm like, oh my God.
Yeah, she never takes crap from him.
No.
Right? I think any other ref would be like, she's like, no. I said two.
She treats them like the boys they need to be treated as. I swear to God.
Absolutely. She's like she's the mother trying to wrangle all of these naughty boys who are trying to get away with all this crap. But I always know when she referees a match, that she's gonna call it down the line.
Mm-hmm.
Even if shenanigans behind her back, she can't be everywhere at once. It happens, but that she is not going to be intimidated by anybody, and I love that about her.
Yeah. All right. I think we tackled a lot of good stuff.
Yeah. Oh, this was awesome.
I'm glad you enjoyed
I
yourself.
had a smile on my face all day, because I was like, yep, no storms.
Nope.
Nope, nothing is going to keep us from doing this time, because we've been trying to do this for a while.
Yeah, we've been trying, definitely.
But I love talking about this. And I love talking about this with you.
Aww. Yeah, but I'm definitely inviting you to our round table. Like I said,
Yes.
I want to say either we'll do it before All Out or right after All Out. I'm not sure what we're gonna do, but yeah, definitely it's gonna be a great forum of a lot of different like-minded people.
Yes, and I would love to, have more perspectives and more discussions, especially from some male perspectives that can be objective.
Yeah.
Not just be automatically.
Yeah, I know that person. All right, but until next time, you have tuned into the first episode of the Elite Librarians. Hopefully, we'll have more librarians soon. We'll have an army.
Yes.
We'll be like Smurfs, have a little Smurf army of librarians.
Yes. Yes, and then we all need to get, once we can all start going to real meet and greets.
Yes.
And shows, we definitely need to get all our pictures taken with Leva and Peter.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Because that we are their biggest fans.
If we don't harass them like so bad to get a picture with them at some point, we have to. They have no idea this is coming, but it's gonna come.
Oh yeah.
The wave of just librarians.
Prepare yourself.
Yes, prepare yourself.
And I'm going to give you a big talking to, Peter, because librarians are winners.
Thank you. I got to win. This one got to win. Leva got to win. Peter.
You got to win. Yep, absolutely.
Tisk, Peter. Get it together.
I'll tell you what, Peter, if you don't start shaping up, I'm going to come down there. I'm going to pin you. And then I'll have a win. You will be the only librarian who does not have a win. And Brandon will never let you forget it.
Ever. Oh, anyways, we're silly. All right, so tune next time, guys. I'll put, if you guys want to follow Beth and me, I'll have our Twitter handles underneath there. We're just wholesome content. We support each other in wrestling, and as you can tell, we both come from the same background. WWF, WWE. I have WCW and ECW in my background.
Oh yeah, I watched some WCW too. Yep. Not as much, but some of it.
Yeah, and so we both came onto the AEW bandwagon, and we're here. We're here, and we want to be vocal, and we love AEW, but there's room for some change, and hopefully that happens very soon.
Coming.
I'm
putting the positivity out there. The change is coming.
All right, till next time, guys. We'll see you later. Bye.
All right. Bye.
All right, let me stop this. Yeah.